Ladies and gentlemen, buckle up because daytime television just exploded in a way we never saw coming. Picture this: the elegant, Oscar-winning Dame Helen Mirren, at 80 years young, graces the set of ITV's Loose Women, ready to chat about her latest riveting role in a West End production that has critics raving. The panel of vibrant, opinionated women like Kay Adams, Nadia Sawalha, Janet Street Porter, and the fiery Denise Welch welcomes her with applause. Helen, poised in a chic emerald gown that hugs her timeless figure, smiles graciously, her eyes sparkling with that signature wit. The audience buzzes with excitement. After all, this is the woman who commanded screens in The Queen and dazzled in Prime Suspect. But as the cameras roll and the theme music fades, what starts as a light-hearted dive into her career takes a sharp, unexpected turn. Denise, known for her unfiltered candor and bold takes on everything from politics to personal woes, leans in with a question that hangs in the air like a storm cloud. Helen, darling, you've reinvented yourself time and again, but let's be real, aren't you past the point of playing the glamorous leading lady? Isn't it time to pass the torch to the younger blood? The studio falls silent. Helen's eyebrow arches ever so slightly, a flicker of steel beneath the silk. What follows is not just a clash of titans but a seismic shift in the fragile ecosystem of morning telly, where politeness is the unspoken rule and tempers are kept cooler than a cuppa. As Helen composes her response, the other panelists shift uncomfortably, sensing the powder keg about to ignite. Little do they know, this innocuous probe into ageism will unravel into a full-blown inferno, leaving one legend storming off and the other red-faced in the wreckage. And just like that, Loose Women transforms from chatty confab to combat zone, with millions tuning in via clips that go viral faster than you can say breaking news. Helen's measured reply cuts through the tension like a knife. Denise, I've spent decades proving that talent doesn't expire with a birth certificate. But if you're suggesting my relevance faded with my 40s, perhaps it's your lens that's outdated. The audience gasps, a ripple of murmur spreading. Denise, undeterred, doubles down, her Geordie accent sharpening like a blade. It's not outdated. Lovia, it's honest. Women over 70 in romance? It's fantasy, not reality. Boom. The fuse is lit, and the explosion is about to echo across the airwaves, headlines, and social media feeds for weeks to come. As the seconds tick by in that fluorescent-lit studio, the air thickens with unspoken barbs. Helen Mirren, Britain's undisputed queen of poesy, finds herself cornered not by a worthy adversary but by a barrage of what feels like veiled jabs at her very essence. Denise Welch, a panel regular whose memoir Confessions of a So-Called Diva laid bare her own battles with fame and fragility, presses on, her voice rising in pitch and volume. Come on, Helen, you've got the Oscars, the knighthood, a dame. Even but playing lovers at your age? It's like watching your gran in a bikini ad. Entertaining, but a bit cringe, no? Laughter erupts from a few corners of the crowd, but it's nervous, brittle, like glass about to shatter. Kay Adams jumps in, her Scottish lilt soothing. Denise, that's a bit harsh. Helen's Golda was groundbreaking, but Welch waves her off, eyes locked on Mirren like a hawk on prey. Harsh? It's the truth we dodge in this industry. Ageism's real, and Helen's the poster girl denying it. Helen, who once stared down Roman Polanski on set without flinching, now straightens her posture, her voice a velvet thunder. Denise, I've bared my soul in roles that scared you stiff, from Caligula's excesses to the long Good Friday's grit. If my age offends your gaze, that's your mirror to clean, not my script to rewrite. The panel erupts, Nadia nodding furiously, Janet muttering about bloody cheek, while producers off-camera signal frantically through the glass. But Denise, fueled by that unquenchable fire that's made her a tabloid darling and a survivor's icon, retorts with venom. Oh, please see, your grit now looks like glamour gone grey. You're clinging, Helen, and it's sad. The word sad lands like a slap, and Helen's cheeks flush not with shame, but with the quiet fury of a woman who's toppled kings on screen and off. She pauses, letting the silence stretch, then delivers the gut punch. Sad? The saddest thing here is a woman my junior, who's built a career on candor, mistaking cruelty for courage. I've earned every wrinkle. Have you earned that bitterness? Whispers turn to whoops from the crowd, Phones lighting up as sneaky recordings capture the melee. Backstage whispers leak, crew members frozen, directors debating cuts. This isn't banter, it's a brawl of egos, where Helen's hard-won wisdom collides head-on with Denise's raw, ragged honesty. And as the argument spirals, with accusations flying like confetti at a funeral, age-shaming versus truth-telling at the show's once cozy vibe fractures irreparably, foreshadowing the chaos yet to unfold. Helen glances at her watch, a subtle signal of exit strategy, but the trap's sprung, and escape will cost more than dignity. The studio lights speed down like spotlights in a gladiatorial arena, illuminating every micro-expression as the war of words escalates from simmer to full boil. Denise Welch, her blonde waves tousled from emphatic gestures, leans forward, elbows on the glossy table strewn with mugs and cue cards, her eyes blazing with that mix of defiance and desperation that's endeared her to fans and foes alike. Helen, you're a feminist icon, a fight for us all, not just your spotlight. Admit it, Hollywood shelves women like you after 50, why pretend otherwise? It's a pivot, or so she thinks, from personal to principled, but Helen sees through the slight, her lips curving in a smile that's more scalpel than sweetness. Feminism, Denise, that's rich from someone who just reduced my life's work to granny in heels. I've shattered ceilings, you still knockin'. A prime suspect wasn't a sideline, it was a revolution. The audience leans in, a collective breath held, as Janet's street porter, ever the contrarian, chimes in with her gravelly timbre. Girls, this is loose women, not loose cannons. Dial it back. But the damage is done. The chat's derailed into a referendum on relevance, with Helen as unwitting defendant. Denise, undaunted, fires back. Revolution? You're romanticized. Love ya preserved in ember while we real birds age in the trenches. Your ceiling shattering left crumbs for the rest of us. Helen's laugh is low, almost pitying, echoing off the rafters. Crumbs? I've mentored more real birds than you've hosted hot takes, Denise. But envy isn't an argument, it's an audition for irrelevance. Gasps ripple through the seats, a young woman in the front row pumping her fist in solidarity. Off mic, producers huddle, one whispering cut to add while another frets over libel suits. The other panelists flounder, Nadia pleading for common ground, Kate cracking a weak joke about hot flushes and hotter tempers, but it's futile. Denise's face crumples, then hardens, her voice cracking on the edge of tears. Envy, try survival, you swan in with your dame mode. I've scrapped for every seat at this table. Vulnerability slips in, humanizing the melee, but Helen, no stranger to scripted salvos, counters with grace laced in grit. Survival's noble, but not at the expense of another's dignity. We've both scrapped it. Difference is, I don't drag others into the mud to feel dry. The crowd's divided now, murmurs splitting into cheers and boos. Phones aloft capturing the unraveling in real time. Social media ignites. #Helen vs Denise trends within minutes. Memes of Mirren's arched brow flooding feeds. As the clock ticks toward commercial salvation, Helen fiddles with her mic pack, her decision crystallizing. This isn't salvageable, it's scorched earth, and she's done fertilizing it. The producers, sensing mutiny, gesture wildly but too late. The clash has crossed from collegial to combustible, setting the stage for an ejection that will redefine loose women's legacy. Tension coils tighter than a corset in that powder blue studio, where the scent of fresh coffee mingles with the acrid tang of escalating egos, and Helen Mirren, embodiment of unyielding elegancia, feels the noose of unsolicited scrutiny tighten. Denise Welch, her cheeks flushed crimson under the unforgiving glare of overheads, gestures wildly, knocking over a water glass that spills like tears across the tablecloth. See? That's your world. Helena spilling over with privilege. You waltz on to sets at 80. I fought bulimia and breakdowns to even get here. Your grace is just code for untouchable. It's a raw unburdening, the kind that loose women thrives on, but timed like a grenade in a teacup. Helen, whose memoir in the frame chronicled her own scars from industry sexism, meets the outburst not with recoil but resolve, her voice steady as a soliloquy. Untouchable, darling, I've been touched by every trope from difficult diva to dame of decline. But unloading your wounds on me doesn't heal them, it just stains the set. The panel fractures further. Nadia reaches for Denise's hand, murmuring steady on, while Kay scans the audience for cues, her anchor instincts kicking in. But Welch, cornered by her own candor, lashes out anew. Stains? You're the stain on progress, a clinging to youth rolls while we age out unseen. The barb bites deep, evoking Helen's own battles, from Caligula's controversy to typecasting woes, and for a heartbeat, vulnerability flickers in her eyes, yet she rallies, drawing on that inexhaustible well of wry wisdom. Progress, Denise, isn't pitting women against each other like gladiators in gowns. I've paved roads you drive and not try. Gratitude over grudge. Applause swells sporadically, a fan shouting, "Tell her, Helen." From the back, but producers, faces ashen behind the control booth, flash red lights. "Wrap it, now." Denise, sensing the tide turn, softens fractionally, her tone pleading, "Gratitude? For what are your scraps? We're both warriors, but you're armored in acclaim, I'm bare-knuckled." It's almost poignant, a sisterly plea amid the pandemonium, but Helen shakes her head, the weight of decades settling. Warriors don't wound allies. This ambush wasn't interview, it was inquisition. I've no more to give your court. With that, she unclips her microphone. The soft click amplified in the hush, and rises fluidly, her heels clicking like verdict gavel on the polished floor. The audience erupts, so half in awe, half in shock as security materializes from the wings, not to restrain but escort. Their presence a silent indictment. Denise slumps, mouth agape, as Janet quips dryly, "Well, that's one way to end a segment." Clips flood Twitter. Helen's exit stride memed as a catwalk conquest. Denise's plea dissected in think pieces. The fallout looms large, apologies pending, ratings soaring. But in that moment, as Helen vanishes through the curtains, loose women teeters on the brink. Its facade of female solidarity cracked wide open by the very voices it amplifies. Chaos cascades through the studio like dominoes in a gale, the once familiar hum of loose women replaced by a cacophony of gasps, claps, and frantic producer whispers filtering through headsets. Helen Mirren, mid-stride toward the exit, pauses at the edge of the set, turning back with the gravitas of a monarch reclaiming her crown, her voice carrying clear over the din. "Ladies, fight the real foes studios, not each other, but thank you for the reminder. Some battles choose you." It's a mic-drop manifesto, delivered with the poise that won her an Academy Award, leaving Denise Welch frozen in her chair, hands trembling as she clutches a crumpled tissue. The panel dissolves into damage control. Kay, ever the diplomat, stammers, "Helen, let's hug it out." While Nadia calls after her, "You're a legend. Lovia, don't let this dim your shine." But Janet, with her trademark bluntness, mutters audibly, "Denise, you've just kicked the hornet's nest with stilettos on." Security, burly yet deferential, flanks Helen gently, guiding her past the green room doors as fans in the crowd chant her name, phones capturing every regal step. Back on set, Denise's facade crumbles, tears streak her makeup, her voice breaking in a whisper mic pickup, "I didn't mean. It was meant to spark debate, not this." The floor manager signals frantically a cut to break, lights down, but it's too late. The feed glitches live on streaming, millions witnessing the unscripted unraveling. As ads roll, the panel huddles, voices overlapping in urgent triage. "Apologize on air," urges Kay, "own it, but frame it as feminism," counters Nadia. Janet scoffs, "Bollocks, that was personal, not principled." Offstage, Helen pauses in the corridor, her publicist hovering with a phone buzzing non-stop. Agents, journalists, allies flooding in. She exhales, a small smile breaking through. "Well, that was more drama than my last script." Word spreads like wildfire, ITV execs convene emergency calls, social media ablaze with #justice for Helen versus #stand with Denise, polls pitting icon against every meme. Clips rack up views, a Helen's retort remixed to orchestral swells, Denise's tears looped in sympathy edits. Pundits pile on, broadsheets decry the catfight culture, tabloids salivate over Dame's fury. By the commercial's end, as lights flicker up, the set feels haunted, empty chairs echoing the void. Denise steels herself, dabbing eyes, ready to face the reckoning. But the damage? Irreversible. Helen's ejection isn't just physical, it's a seismic vote of no confidence in the show's shtick, where vulnerability meets volatility. And as the host returns to frame the frenzy, what a moment, viewers! The undercurrent hums. Has Loose Women just lost its most luminous guest, or gained its most infamous episode? The answer, unfolding in real time.